Today, we're digging into a really fascinating spiritual perspective from Supreme Master Ching Hai. It puts forward a pretty bold idea that over 49 years, all of the Buddha's various teachings were actually pointing to one single, ultimate method for liberation. A method that, get this, goes beyond the scriptures themselves.
So think about this for a second. What if that huge library of Buddha Sutras isn't a bunch of different paths you have to choose from? What if it's really just descriptions of the exact same path, just explained in different ways for different people at different times?
According to this teaching, the name didn't really matter. Whether the Buddha called it the Lotus Dharma, the Diamond Dharma, it was always pointing to the same core method. The names just changed to connect with his audience, which you can imagine is exactly why it can all seem so confusing to us today. Okay, so to really get what this path is, the source material says we first have to clear up what it isn't. And this means taking a hard look at several common spiritual practices that many people assume are the way, but are argued here to be, well, big misunderstandings.
So what's on the list? Well, things like heading to the beach to listen to the waves, thinking that's the inner sound of Quan Yin. Or, the mechanical repetition of chanting a bodhisattva's name, or even reciting a powerful mantra over and over again. Even the act of sitting quietly and just intellectually trying to visualize or project compassion, all of that is being questioned here.
The main critique really boils down to this fundamental mismatch. Our human imagination, our everyday mind, is finite. It has limits. So how could it possibly wrap itself around something that is truly limitless, truly boundless, like the compassion of a bodhisattva? The teaching is simple. You can't. It's just way beyond what our normal thoughts or words can even touch.
To really drive this point home, the source gives a pretty stark example. It points out that in Formosa, that's Taiwan, many people are incredibly diligent, reciting mantras hundreds of thousands of times. And yet, that doesn't automatically transform them into bodhisattvas. The point is that just going through the motions, the mechanical practice, doesn't guarantee any real change to your inner being.
But there's a danger here that goes even deeper than just using a practice that might not work. According to this teaching, focusing so much on these external methods can lead you right into a hidden trap, ego. And that can actually push you further away from your goal.
You know how it starts. It's subtle. You begin to identify with what you do. I'm a person who chants.
And then it just keeps building. I am a vegetarian. I meditate. See where this is headed?
The focus just keeps coming back to I, me, and my spiritual checklist. In Buddhist philosophy, this is what's known as ngachap, or ego attachment. So instead of dissolving your ego, your spiritual practice actually becomes the very thing that builds a bigger, stronger, and dare I say, more spiritual ego.
And this is where it gets really dangerous. Because when your mind is so full of this I, this feeling that you've got it all figured out, there's just no room left. There's no space to hear a new idea or to receive a genuinely different teaching. You end up with a kind of spiritual pride that makes you basically unteachable. So if the true path isn't in these common practices, and you can't just think your way to it, then where is it? And this question brings us right to the absolute heart of this teaching, a path that's about direct transmission, one that exists completely beyond words.
The source material brings up this classic Zen phrase, "Jiao Gao my beer train." It literally means a special transmission outside the scriptures. The whole idea is that the real, living experience of the method can't be bottled up in a book or explained away with words. It's something that has to be transmitted directly.
Here's a great way to think about it, using the classic story, Journey to the West. We can all read the book. We can read about the monk Xuanzang's incredibly dangerous journey. We can even imagine all the demons and the suffering he went through. But here's the thing. Reading the story doesn't mean we actually get the sutras at the end. We don't gain his wisdom. The book is just the map. It's not the journey itself. Now, you might be thinking, so are the scriptures totally useless then? And the answer is no, not at all. The source is actually very clear that they have a really specific and important role to play. It's just probably not the one we first assume. I mean, think about it this way, right? A tape recorder can play the sutras perfectly, 24/7. It never gets tired, never gets distracted. If just mindlessly reciting the words was the path to enlightenment, that tape recorder would have become a Buddha a long, long time ago. So obviously there's got to be more to it than just reading. So what is their purpose? Well, according to this teaching, scriptures are an incredible record. They're a reference manual you can use to check against your own direct experiences. And yeah, reading them can definitely bring benefits, like worldly or even heavenly merit. But here's what they can't do. They can't transmit the living, breathing experience of enlightenment. They can't grant ultimate liberation. For that, you need something more.
And that leaves us with the huge, central question that this whole teaching poses. If the real path to liberation can't be found in a book, can't be imagined by your mind, and can't be achieved through just simple repetition, then how in the world is it found? This teaching suggests the answer isn't out there on the page, but in here. A path not of reading, but of direct inner experience. Thanks for diving in with us today.